Good evening, somebody. Good evening from my part of the world. It might be morning or afternoon to you. Just like I always say, because I'm in the learning mode, my student mode is activated. Every day I learn something. So something that happened to me that I want you to equally get some lessons from it. Probably not the same experience, but then you get a different learning out of this. Why none of us is supposed to live prejudicially? Because it inhabits us from thinking. It happens in relationships, it happens in businesses, among colleagues, friends, and many a time it's just because of what you've heard, not even your experience. So we hate people for no reason. We dislike things we have no idea how they can add value to our lives as humans. So last year, this was my story. My Facebook account was hacked into last year. And unfortunately, I had a card on my, on my ad account, good. And the person was able to hack into that account when something unpleasant happened. What else could I do? It was letters upon letters to Facebook, to the bank, to, at the end of the day, what happened? Nothing much. So I woke up this morning and my phone gave me a notification that I can't log into my Facebook account. And hello, if you're on Facebook and if you've not activated your two-way verification yet, I don't know what you're waiting for, honey. Even my account that has had two-way verification on was hacked into. And my bank accounts, my card on my ad account was equally hacked into. So you see, if you haven't done yours, then it means your information is not safe. Kindly do that. Just a few minutes, you'll be done. Right. So because of that, when I realized that I couldn't sign in on my phone. Normally on the mobile phone, it's already automated. You just click on the app and you're able to access every information on Facebook or on all the apps. But I just woke up and I realized instead of clicking it and logging into automatically like it's always been, now Facebook was requesting my password. And I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? So I was hesitant because I wasn't sure. And come and see, just within 2 minutes, my body, I was sweating, I was the same thing. That happened to us when we put our body into the flight or flee mode. Your heart rate, your blood pressure increase, you are pale, you have flat skin, diluted. I mean, you know your body is not right. Just because your mind has sent signal to your body that something, a bad experience is about to repeat itself. And once we get into that mode, trust me, we can't think. We shut logic and reasoning. Common sense would not even be applicable. What did I do? And then it occurred to me, I don't have Facebook on only my mobile phone. Why don't I try using my laptop too and see what happens? I went on the laptop and everything was beautifully. I was still signing. So I was able to check for all the security reasons they were intact. I tried the mobile phone again. I was still having the same feedback. So I told myself, hold on. You don't even have any card on your Facebook account now. So that is checked. It means nobody, should it even be like somebody has hacked into account again, there's no way anybody is going to steal from you. All they could do is to take the account, but now I know how I'll be able to, get my accounts back. When I started reasoning, and giving myself reasons why I'm not supposed to get into that mood, the sweating ceased. The sweating ceased. All the heart rate increased was ceased. Then I was able to reason. Then I was able to realize that, oh, it's not as bad as I thought. So now what did I do on my mobile phone? I just had to wait a while. I told myself, what if it has to do with network? And then you see how we are wired for negativity. Many of the questions that come handy to us is, what if it goes bad? But now I'm training my brain such that when I begin feeling that way, I'm able to counter that. And what I do is, what if it won't be as worse as I am anticipating? Because come to think of it all, I don't have any card on my Facebook account. So, hi, Julie. Yes, I'm also glad you are on. And because I realized, I told myself that, oh, wait a minute, I don't even have any card on my Facebook account. So even if it was someone that's hacked into it, nothing else, I'm not going to lose anything. Every other thing calmed. Every other thing calmed within my body, my mind, and I was able to think. So we are not supposed to be prejudiced, but that is the way we live. We create enemies with people we have never encountered them in any way, just because of what people have told us. And when we get into that mood and we are not able to ask these people questions, these people haven't done anything wrong. They haven't done bad by you. But just because people experience encounters with them are bad and they want you to equally hate these people, they will tell you lies. Even if their stories are true, my question and my argument is, whatever happened between you is not my narrative. The same person you think is mean, has been bad, could be an angel to somebody else. So why can't we experience people for ourselves? And we only judge people based on what we have been told by other people. And we know that these people were not truthful, because sometimes you hear bits and pieces of the stories somewhere. And in every story, there is your side, their side, and the truth. So when we pay attention to what people tell us, the lies they tell us about other people, we'll miss the angels that God bring our way, the people who help us that the universe sent our way. And number one, it also limits personal growth and understanding, because it narrows your perspective. When I waited a while and nothing was happening, although Facebook was working functionally on my laptop, but I still wanted it to work on my mobile phone, what did I do? I uninstalled the app, waited a while, installed it, password, and I was able to log in. Nothing happened, and here am I tonight speaking to you. Every other thing I was experiencing, every other thing just went dissipated by itself, because now my brain was able to think. So my body and my mind wasn't in the fight or flight mood to generate all those same things that our bodies don't need. And many a time, that's the way we live. I've told you now, I want to learn from every situation. And trust me, because I made that assertion, the universe teaches me something every day. So I realized that, oh, life itself is not good or bad. It is the meaning, the interpretation we give into our situations that make us go through unnecessary troubles just because our minds are not thinking right. People can promise you, between the promise and the delivery, anything can happen. If your mindset is whatever happens, you are marching on regardless. Nothing overwhelms you in this life. Nothing overwhelms you. The experiences we've been through, when we see symptoms and signals of it, it doesn't mean it's going to be bad as we went through or experienced previously. So instead of narrowing our perspective, why don't we allow our bodies and our minds to calm down, so we'll be able to think, to brainstorm, to mindstorm, to get correct answers for our situations. We damage relationships because we create divisions based on how prejudiced we've become, based on the stories and narratives of other people we've not even experienced yet. And we hear the stories from other people. In our part of the world, that when you hear loyalty, it's just supposed to be from the lesser to the higher. And people don't think and believe that the younger ones also are human beings. They equally have feelings, and they also get disappointed. They also get hurt. So you hear stories from other people, and you begin to dislike people you haven't encountered. People who hold the keys to the things you've prayed for, to the businesses you want to do. And you see people and you give them attitude whereby you don't know them. You've never experienced anything about them. You've never encountered anything concerning them. Just because of what you heard from other people, you damage relationships. Strategic relationships. Relationships that could have enhanced you, propel you into your next level. I mean, strategic relationships. You damage them because of the narratives of other people. And it promotes miscommunication. Prejudice often leads to assumptions and misunderstandings, making it difficult to communicate effectively because of what you know. You are not open to common sense, to even reasoning. You don't want to hear the other side of the story. Now, in this age and this time, what I tell people, even if I act based on the information I know now, should I get another information that is genuine, authentic? I won't live like ignorant and naive. Once you get access to a deeper and higher information and knowledge, what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to live based on the new knowledge you have. That is when growth takes place. But if we are so prejudiced that whatever we know, as for me, this is the way I am, so not growth, no learning, how would we become the best versions of ourselves? It also perpetuates inequality, justifies discrimination. Oh, as for these people, when I see highly educated people, speaking of other tribe, other religion, other people, and generalizing everything, I'm like, what is the use of the school, of the education? Have you encountered everybody from my tribe? Just because you married one who treated you poorly makes you think everybody in my tribe is that way? Excuse me, you are prejudiced. You are not educated. Don't speak out of your ignorance just because you are prejudiced. Don't discriminate against certain group of people just because of what you've heard, not even your experience. Just because of what somebody told you about another person, the person has become your enemy. And we say we educated. So the people you are supposed to, who are supposed to be your serendipities, who are supposed to be your blessing in this life, who are supposed to hold your hand. And you see, family is not just through marriage and blood relations. Family is anybody who is willing, ready, and able to hold your hand when you need them. And if you just be prejudiced, so everybody is an enemy just because of what he heard from people, how can growth, how can life be easier for us? It leads to discrimination, which perpetuates inequality in areas such as even employment. The funny aspect, sometimes I don't get it. I've worked at places that people from a particular tribe, even in the normal general meeting we have, they are speaking their language, knowing that I don't understand. But I still have other beautiful friends from that same tribe. Do I have the right to generalize? No, it is those particular people. So when I see people generalizing things and they want to say they are highly educated, I don't get it. I don't get it. We are so prejudiced that we don't even allow common sense to work. And yet we are educated. It hinders social progress. By maintaining discriminatory attitude and practices, prejudice slows down social progress and the pursuit of equality. You've encountered few people from that country, from that tribe, from that nation, and it makes you generalize that as for these people, that is the way they are. Excuse me, sir. No, they are not. They are still beautiful souls in this life. For the fact that all the people you've encountered are mean doesn't mean the whole world is mean against you. No, there are still beautiful, awesome people here. People who hold your hand and give you the support you need. But because you are prejudiced, you will not even pay attention. Everybody comes with a red flag to you. You don't trust anybody and you expect people to trust you in return. It doesn't work like that. It causes emotional and psychological harm because it erodes your self-esteem. For those who are the targets, they are the targets of prejudice. Repeated exposure to negative stereotypes and discriminatory behavior can lead to lower self-esteem, anxiety, and depression. It makes you feel the whole world is against you, whereby people love you. You have no idea. So it creates hostile environments where you see everybody as an enemy. People have been so good to you just because you went to hear bad things from other people about them. Now you've turned that person into an enemy. Why? How can we grow and develop if we are so prejudiced? How can we grow and develop? We'll damage every relationship. And you see, relationships are currency. You add the meaning of that currency to it by the way you also give back to that person. So some of the struggles we go through life is about relationship issues. You have problem with every relationship, with everybody. Not because you've encountered bad things from them, but because of what other people have shared with you. No, life is not supposed to be that. Prejudice will fuel violence and even conflict because it encourages aggression. There are people, you meet them and immediately you see them, you are annoyed, you are angry for no reason, just because of the stories other people have told you about them. When will we begin changing this narrative? When will we begin changing this narrative? Can you imagine what would have happened if I thought my conclusion was, oh, somebody has hacked into my account again? And you put your body and your mind into the flee or flight mode, exhibiting all those symptoms. You don't need all the negative energies into your body, releasing so much cortisol into your body. You don't need that. So instead of asking all the negative questions, why don't we begin asking the positive ones too? Communities are divided today because of prejudice, leading to social unrest, conflict, and even war. You see the us versus them. Who told you? It's just because of somebody else's narrative. That is not your encounter. So why do you live like that? Mentality, making cooperation and peaceful coexistence difficult. You see everybody as an enemy, not because you've encountered anything bad from them, but because of the narratives of other people. Because somebody in your family went to marry somebody in that country, in that tribe, doesn't mean all the people there are mean, they are wicked, they are evil. No. No. It limits opportunities. Prejudice in the workplace or educational setting can prevent individuals from, reaching their full potential. Discrimination based on prejudice views can result in qualified people being overlooked for jobs. And you go into some places and a particular people, as for this place is owned by these people, It is for your tribe. So because you don't speak that language, no, you will never get promotion. And we say we educated. You will not even be liked. You will not be accepted. And they can gang up against you. What kind of a people are we? What kind of a people are we? So it's better to have an open mind than to be prejudiced. And to see everybody, generalize every encounter, every experience of yours. You want to generalize that. It diminishes our humanity. It dehumanizes other people. Prejudice can lead to the dehumanization of those who are different from us. Why on earth will I expect everybody to be like I am? No. People are different. And if we can't accept them as they are, we expect them to be like we are, then we are rather the problem. So this dehumanization makes it easier to ignore the suffering of others. It limits compassion and empathy. Imagine how stressful I would have put my body through if I thought that, oh, what happened to my Facebook account last year is going to happen again. And then you can't think. You can't find ways that you'll be able to get out of that situation. Many of the problems we encounter, there are solutions in the problem. But if we are prejudiced, we are only thinking of the negative things, the worst scenarios. But it's not in all situations that the worst scenarios happen. Some things don't get as worse as we imagine. It's just because we are prejudiced. And it can perpetuate ignorance. Highly educated people who are prejudiced. So it keeps stereotypes alive. Prejudice reinforces stereotypes and misinformation, which can be passed down through generations. So you can hear some people, as for us, we don't marry them. And you get deep down into why it happened and you laugh. Just because of somebody's ignorance, naivety. They've generalized that a whole family. So even when people meet people from other tribes who could be good to them, they get home and they say, as for us, we don't marry them. Them who are the them and who are the us is the particular person you are dealing with. So how come you generalize? You've generalized it. It stands in the way of peace. It fuels global tension on a larger scale. It hinders reconciliation because in your mind, there is nothing anybody can say that will do well with you. So prejudice is a destructive force that limits personal growth, damages relationships, perpetuates inequality, and hinders social progress. It creates barriers where there could be understanding, cooperation, and unity. It doesn't make us grow. It doesn't make us use our brains to think. The whole day could have been something else for me, if not because I paused. I said, wait a minute, let me reason through what is happening. Because it's not all the time that the worst things will happen. Even if that is what you anticipated, that everything is leading to that outcome, trust me, it wouldn't be as worse as we anticipated. So who are we disturbing? Our very selves. We are disturbing our body by releasing cortisol into our bloodstream, and we don't need that. If all we think of is negativity, then negativity would equally happen to us. Some people will say it protects me. It doesn't make me think of what will not be flexible. Yes. But what if it happens the other way? Instead of thinking, what if it doesn't happen? What if it gets worse? Why can't we think, what if it doesn't get worse? And if it gets worse, who says that is the end of life? Who says we can't be able to get through, to think through higher solutions than even what we anticipated? So we shouldn't just think that life is so bad and people are so mean and nothing good is going to happen to us. regardless of what we go through, let's have hope. Not hope that we are going to sleep, but hope that in every situation, we will look at what we have to learn, what the situation is teaching us. It is when we take those actions, it is when we learn from those behaviors that we'll be able to grow. So now I've learned that regardless of what happens, it won't be as worse as I will anticipate. So instead of anticipating worse, instead of anticipating bad, why can't I also look out for the good? Why can't I also think that yes, these experiences have been bad, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen to me that way? Why can't I think that it may look and sound that bad, but if I take my time and deal with it bits and pieces, I'll be able to walk through everything that life throws at me? For how long would we hold on to our bad experiences and encounters and think that everything is going to be as bad as what we experienced? Yes, it was a bad experience. Yes, somebody hacked into my Facebook account. Yes, my card, my MasterCard on the account was hacked into. Money was stolen. But does it mean that every time I log into Facebook and I'm not able to have access, it means that is going to happen? So my whole body, I get my whole body and mind into the flight or flee mode and begin thinking of bad things? No, it's not every time that the worst things can happen. So instead of thinking of the worst things, why don't we get into a place that will be able to resonate? That regardless of what I see, the symptoms, the signals, I would be able to reason, to think, to get the help I need. If it's medical, if it's advice, if it's therapy, whatever I need to be able to walk through, I would go for it. Instead of thinking and giving up and folding up and getting overwhelmed. So our body and our minds will not be able to function properly. And we bring untold hardships upon ourselves just because we are thinking evil, just because we are not thinking right, just because we think everybody is mean, because our experiences have been from one person to the other. It doesn't mean the third person would also treat us badly. Everything happens in our mind. It is the battlefield. Once we win in our minds, we are winners. Because I was able to give myself space to think and to give myself the scope to know that once Facebook is working on my laptop, it means nobody has hacked into it. So let me give myself time, uninstall the app on my mobile phone, install it again, key in the password, and see what happens. So I would have put myself into unnecessary, untold hardship and stress just because I was thinking that the same bad experience was going to happen to me. And many a time, that's what a greater percentage of people do. Because he cheated on you once, you see any signal, you see him taking a call that you don't understand, and you think it's going to happen again. Because you did a business and lost anything, any small thing that the people you work with exhibit, you think they're going to steal from you again. No, if you can't trust people, how do you expect people to trust you and to work with you? So let's begin to think right. Let's begin to think that instead of asking ourselves, what if it doesn't work? Why don't we ask ourselves, what if it works? Instead of thinking that, oh yes, this is the same way it happened when people disappointed me, when people who promised to be with me couldn't stand through. So once you see a symptom and a signal, it means it's going to be bad again. No, it is not going to be bad again. It's not everybody who is not living from the point of integrity. So the fact that people promised you and they couldn't honor that promise doesn't mean when another person promises, the person won't honor that. You can't believe and think that the whole world is against you. No, there are still good people. For the fact that some good people haven't come your way doesn't mean you should think and believe that everybody is evil. No. No. For the fact that that same family, till now, nobody has been able to help you, doesn't mean that the rest of your life, that's how it's going to be. People change, their perspective, their worldview, their paradigms change. And when that happens, how they relate to people and the world will equally change. So that same person who didn't do right by you, or this time around, love you right. It's because you are prejudiced. You don't want to give anybody another chance, because to you, the bad thing is going to happen again. No, it is not always the case. And even if it does, and so what? So we don't have to live thinking that the whole world is against us just because we are prejudiced. It will destroy us, and it will have nothing to do with the world. The world is neither good or bad. It is the meaning, the interpretation we give to it. So we should stop generalizing everything that happens to us and to buy into people's narrative and think the whole world is against us. No, the whole world is not against us. Even in their narrative, you don't know the full story. They are only telling you what they want you to hear. And to hear from other people, to know what they equally did to them, you marvel. So don't just buy into the lies of other people. When they want to say all the bad things about others, for you to also hate people who haven't caused any harm to your life. No. Don't buy into the narrative of other people and accept people you haven't experienced as bad, as mean, when you don't even know who they are. It is the narrative of other people. It is not your experience. If the universe wants you to know who people are, you have an encounter with them. And to encounter people, don't buy into the narrative of other people concerning others. Some of these people are blessings in disguise to us. We only listen to people's experience of them. It is because they are speaking. If you should hear the other side of the story, you know that you have no right to generalize anything in this age. It doesn't matter your encounter. At the point they were speaking, if only you knew the other side of the story, you get to know that the other people were equally hurting. So you have no business to hate them just because of what you've heard from other people. Get to know people for who they are and take your own decision. That is what full agentic adults do. Not to hear bits and pieces of other people, their encounters with them. And for you, because of your prejudice, you would start treating them wrong. No, that won't help any of us. We have no business to live prejudically, because it will destroy beautiful relationship. That is what prejudice does. And yet we buy into it. We buy into the narrative of other people. So we conclude on people and things and places without us even visiting, without us encountering. And we miss beautiful relationships, the currencies we need to get into our next level. Yes, Julie, it is very unfortunate. It is very unfortunate how we lose God-sent relationships. I call them serendipities. We lose these people because of the narratives of other people. And we give people attitude. People love us and care for us. We give them attitude because of the lies of other people. Prejudiced. We can generalize things about a whole people, a whole tribe. And yet we say we are educated. Why don't we experience people for ourselves? When people do wrong by you, you can call them out. But until that happens, why would you listen to the narratives of other people and dislike and hate and refuse the blessings that the universe sends your way? Why would we do that? Why would we live still ignorant and naive after all the information that is accessible to us? Why would we want to live like that and miss blessings? Strategic relationships, destroy them. A beautiful working experience, we destroy them because of other people's confessions of others. As to whether they are the truth or not, you have no idea. Why can't we experience things for ourselves and have the opportunity to draw our own conclusions? Why would we think the whole world is against us? Why would we believe that nothing good could come out of our lives just because some bad things have happened to us? Why would you accept the fact that this is the way your life will be? Instead of thinking that nothing good could happen to you, why can't you also think that because you are working on good things for your life, good things would equally happen? Your life can change. Your situation can change. Between January 1st to 31st January of a year, a beautiful things can happen for anybody. So why would you conclude that nothing good could happen for you just because people have given up on you? Just because people have told you that nothing good could happen to your life and you also believe them? What about those who are telling you that beautiful things are waiting? Instead of believing the negativity, why don't we believe the positivity? Instead of always thinking evil, that evil is after you, why don't you think that goodness is equally chasing you? And the rest of your life is going to be beautiful, from one beautiful encounter to the next beautiful encounter. Why are we so prejudiced that we bring untold hardship to our lives because of the narrative of other people? Why don't we want to write our own narratives? Why? Why do we still believe lies? So we don't experience our own. We don't do things that we want to do with our lives. That many people are living bits and pieces of other people's lives because they are afraid that when they own their lives and live, people will insult, people will judge, people will conclude on them. For how long? For how long would we live pleasing everybody? Buy into the opinions of other people. Opinions that are based on, they are not based on any reason or actual experience. And yet that is our story. So we give rise to prejudice in someone based on our biases. And these biases are not even our experience or our encounters. It is what people have experienced and they've told us. What makes you think your experience will be same as other people's? You know better, so you do better. And because you do better, you equally get better. Your experience is not going to be like everybody else's. So why do you buy into their lies? Why do you accept just anything from anybody and want to run your life on that? Why would you want to run your life on other people's encounters and experience? So I passed by quickly to let you understand that we don't have to live ignorantly and naive just because we are prejudiced. It wouldn't help us. It would always make enemies for us for no reason. It would prevent us from living our truest agentic selves because you're always looking at your shoulder. The people who warn you about other people, they are watching, and because of that you can't be yourself. You are full agentic adults. Experience people, experience things, and draw your own conclusion. Get to know who people are and address them accordingly. And until that happens, don't buy into the lies, the narratives of any person, of anybody, and conclude and generalize. The fact that 2 or 3 people from a particular tribe, from a particular background, have treated you unfairly doesn't mean everybody from that is going to treat you unfairly. So let's stop generalizing and see how amazing our lives will be. Let's stop generalizing and see how we'll build beautiful relationships with people. Because it will not be on the narratives of others. It would be our own experience. And in case we don't know, the people other people brand as evil might be angels on your journey. The people others brand as disloyal might be the most loyal people you've ever encountered. Loyalty is not a one-way street. It is because they were disloyal. That is why the people equally changed. Don't buy into their lies. It is not true that you be loyal to people who will turn their backs at you. At a point, there were evidence of disloyal, but they won't share that to you. Many a time, those who hurt people deeply will make their stories sound as if they were hurt. So those people will look bad. Experience them by yourself before you conclude on them. Before you conclude on them. So, thank you for passing by. You can put your comment there. Francis, thank you for being on. Let's encounter people and get to know who they are. Mr. President, I can see you on. Let's encounter people and get to know who they are. Don't just buy into the narrative of other people, and see how beautiful relationships we'll be able to build over time. Over time. Everybody is not an enemy. Everybody is not an enemy. The people surrounding you who give you, even criticize you constructively, they are not enemies. Don't buy into the lies of other people. So you pull away from blessings, strategic relationships. No. The loyal and the truthful people are those who don't fight for you publicly. They are doing their own things. So don't see everybody as an enemy, and don't think the whole world is against you. No. There are still people who love you deeply. You have no idea. It is because you are prejudiced and you put your guards on. So you can't also open up and love them for them to equally show you their best. If only we put our guards down, not because we'll not be careful, but will not relate to people based on the misconceptions and lies of other people. We'll get to know who they are. There are people who are still living integrity. They are living and doing right by others who equally live in integrity. So don't buy the lies that everybody is bad, everybody is mean, everybody is evil, everybody is after your downfall. No. Prejudice will destroy and damage strategic relationships that we need to get into our next level. God bless and keep all of us. Much love and blessings, everyone. Thank you for being on. I'll come your way some other time. You can put your comments, your experience in the comment section there, so all of us will be able to learn. We have no business to live prejudice. No, it won't help any of us. Let's march on regardless, knowing that every other encounter in this life would be our experience. We will not generalize anything anymore and conclude on people without getting to know who they are. Much love and blessings. Bye for now.